Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll give you and interject my financial opinions as we go. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. We do have a discount if you want to join. It is LEAP for leap year. It's 50% off the first month if you just want to try it. And then it goes back to regular pricing, or you can get a bigger discount on the yearly membership. So let's dive in here. Let's take a look at what's going on. And just a reminder, the question and answer session this weekend is Sunday at 7 a.m. That is different than what we normally do because of the Super Bowl. Let's dive in and take a look. So the DXY, we are holding steady, still looks pretty good. We've got nice big bullish engulfing here. We are flagging out for the most part, and we could potentially head higher unless some other day comes along and throws us a wrench in this. That's what I'm seeing is a higher dollar or an outperformance of the dollar versus other currencies, which then generally leads to higher yields on bonds. So we look at the 2-year yield. It is continuing higher, up 0.5%. It's working its way on up. This still has the chance to go lower. We have a bearish engulfing here. We've got 3 small candlesticks going up, and it still could head lower if we get if we get some buying pressure on the 2-year bond. Buying pressure lowers yields. The 10-year yield is continuing to work its way higher, 0.5% roughly, and we're right at that resistance level that we could potentially break and move on up. And then we've got the 30-year, which is also up against resistance here. And are we going to punch through, or are we going to turn back around? Don't know yet. And the way that the longer end of the curve behaves will have a large impact on the pricing of assets. Higher yields are going to have is going to be a headwind for the overall stock market and a headwind for mortgage rates and all sorts of that stuff. TYX, TNX ratio, we are back to support. So we've pulled on back in terms of the 30-year versus the 10-year. And this is highly correlated to the price of gold. And we've been moving sideways. Are we going to kind of invert back, or are we going to use this as a support level and work our way on up? If we go up, generally what that means is that the yield curve is uninverting, and it generally does that when yields go down for gold to go higher. So we're at an inverted point compared to history. We're very inverted. And the yield curve, it's not clear that this is just going to uninvert completely. It's almost like people have their hands in it and are keeping it inverted to some extent. Think of it as higher for longer yields. TLT bond prices down. We're back against support. That's what this white line is going across. It's support off of this entire area in the mid 2000s. You can see we've punched up through it, but we're back at that support level. And then the 2 and 10 is just, this still looks good for me to go higher because you got a good drive off the bottom and then small selling pressure that's not really pulling back very much. So we could stay inverted for a while. Gold's down $10. It doesn't like the increasing yields and the lowering of, or I should say, the further inversion of the yield curve. So we're just been moving sideways. It's been taking it pretty good. Silver's up a little bit, and we do have a bullish engulfing yesterday, which means it makes me think that we could go higher in the short term. And we have a small little, I call it a bloody nose day today, which is generally a continuation pattern to the upside. Platinum down a little bit, but we are getting some wicks. We are entering a support area. And that's where we're at. We could easily go down to this support level if people get scared. But right now we're at support, and we just bounced off it this morning. Palladium down 3%, $27 an ounce. Looks like it is breaking through a support level, but we also still have a gaggle of support underneath us in this general area here. So we could even get down to the low 800s, high 700s is a possibility for palladium. And it looks like it's trying to do that. So we could see further selling pressure in palladium in the short term. XEU to gold ratio, we're back to support here. And that's the support level, this line going across here in the short term. We are kind of squeezing up, and we'll see. I mean, this could easily go lower if yields continue to go higher and oil go higher. Oil and yields are very much correlated, and maybe we've got a problem in the bond market. Maybe we're issuing far too many bonds and yields are going to go up irrespective of what oil does. It's a possibility. The gold and silver mining companies underperforming gold today, and we've got a lot of work cut out for it for those gold and silver mining companies. The CRB index is up slightly today, up 0.28%. It's right at that resistance line, and we'll see if we can punch through this thing. We've got the CRB to S&P 500, which is tracking sideways, down 0.3% today to be specific, or to be exact. And we've been losing out to the S&P 500. S&P 500 is just, it's on a wild, I would say, run to the upside. I do think it will bottom at some point soon, and we will reverse with oil outperforming, basically oil outperforming the S&P. So GDX down a little bit, as expected with that underperformance. It looks like it's trying to put in a little bottom, but again, guys, I would wait. GDXJ is lower and SILJ is lower. We do have little wicks on the bottom. They are hammer candlesticks, and we'll see what occurs over the next few trading sessions. We've got crude oil up 0.42%. Not a huge day, but momentum is still moving up. We can look at the short term here. It is still working its way on up. Slowly, it's grinding. But oil does look at least somewhat decent and has a little bit of momentum behind it. TTF, we're pulling on back. We're back at support, and we'll see if that support holds in TTF natural gas. We've got natural gas in America, which is continuing to fall. We're at $1.85 for natural gas, and we've pulled on back. I do think that this is going to be a bottom. You should be getting more bullish as this pulls on back, and look for a potential bottom over the next few weeks, months. XOP, yeah, you know me, down 0.8%. We've got a little bit of momentum coming on up. We've got, obviously, natural gas going a little bit lower as oil moves higher. I'm not saying that this looks necessarily ultra bullish, because it doesn't look ultra bullish, but bigger, longer term, shoulder, head, shoulder is developing, and it's taking time to work on that right-hand shoulder. When we break, it will be fun. OIH, which is energy service companies, down a little bit today, almost about 1%, and we're right at the support level. We've got the Sprott Uranium Trust. We were up a little bit today, but again, this could easily continue lower. It's an inverted bloody nose is what I would call it, and we could still move lower. Sideways to lower is what I would expect until maybe we do another retest of that breakout line. URA is down a little bit. Again, the momentum's to the downside. We'll see what this looks like over the next few trading sessions. So I remain, lower until we get that turn. URNM also a little bit. It's a down day, 0.44. Momentum's coming up a little bit, but again, it's a bearish engulfing yesterday. Momentum's to the downside. That is still in play. That is not reversed yet. And URNJ is the same thing. TAN's up a little bit, surprisingly. It's a flag pattern, and we are moving on up, and that looks like it could continue. I'm surprised that TAN is going up at all, but this is a big bullish engulfing. Looks actually really good on the weekly to work its way on higher. Looks very good. Copper, down a little bit today. We're back to support. So we're hitting that support level, and we'll see if that support level holds. We had higher interest rates, and for some reason, copper is really sensitive to interest rates now. It seems like every time we get an increase in interest rates, this thing likes to beeline to the downside. So COPX is also down because copper's down. So we're back to support almost. Lithium surprisingly is up. It's trying to work its way on up, irrespective of what interest rates are doing. REMX also up. So these look like they're trying to bottom. We've got the S&P 500 that's continuing higher, up almost 0.6%. And then we've got the NASDAQ up 1.25. And this is going to be entering ultimate bubble land, which could still keep going higher. The momentum's behind it. It still looks good to continue on up. KRE, regional banks, moving higher today, 1.74%. Looks pretty good, actually. Try to turn around here. Emerging markets also higher and bucking the trend of increasing interest rates. So that looks good. Home builders also working its way on up. I do think we've got a breakout here and we could see it grind on up over time. MU also up 0.11%, but I think we might hit this $69 retest level. We've got iron ore up 0.7%, but this is not convincing to me yet that we are going to for surely turn yet. On the weeklies, we still have basically a potential downward move in iron ore in the short term. Aluminum down a teeny bit. We're back to support, and we're just riding on the support. We've got the Baltic Dry Index down a little bit, 1%, right on support. We do have to work off a lot of momentum from that selling pressure there. Newcastle coal, we're heading a little higher today. This looks good to try to turn here and work its way on up. I think this is based out enough where we could potentially move over the next few months or so. Bitcoin up 4.7%, just ripping it. That momentum continuing, and Ethereum also ripping it today, up almost 3%, up against resistance. There's that resistance line that I drew in a while back. We're in that channel. So that's what we've got there. So give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you like these types of updates, subscribe to the website. If you want to go to the question and answer session and ask me questions directly, I am putting together a presentation of energy, oil specifically, nat gas, the drilled uncompleted wells, copper, the copper ore grades, all that stuff. It's put it all together. It's actually very good information to know as an investor, specifically a commodity investor, and what I think could be coming in the energy markets over the next decade. So that's kind of what I could share on Sunday if you guys want to, or I can set up another training session and do it in an entirely new training session and do a deep dive into all that stuff. I'll ask you guys what you want to do Sunday. But that's what I've got, and we'll catch you guys next time. This is Finding Value.